Well, Simon, it's great to see you again. Since we spoke here last week, County have played twice, won twice, scored 7, conceded none. We've had worse weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, I guess there are worst weeks that could be had. So yeah, really happy with the two results. Really happy with the nature of the performances. You know, clean sheets, goals. Of course, things that we'll always look at and hope we want to improve and can be better. But I think we can be satisfied with the last two games in terms of what we took out of it of points, goals and clean sheets.
What's impressed you most in those two games? Because everything that you spoke about last week in terms of the need to be more clinical, keep concentration in key moments, that's been there for all to see lately, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think there has been moments where game management has been really good in the games. Although there's also moments where, of course, that aspect of it can improve. You know, with the nature of the games very different in their type in terms of away from home, Wrexham, someone chasing for the playoff places with ambitions, and then a very different game at home to Kings Lynn. And I think what's probably pleased me is we've had to be adaptable in the two games. And I think we found the balance of adaptability really well, and that's been a big contributor in us getting the 6 points.
You've spoken at length in the past as well about there being no straightforward games in this league, and Tuesday night was certainly no different. What was your view on that game?
Yeah, I think absolutely the games aren't straightforward, and sometimes people can look at the league table and might assume that a certain set of circumstances is going to take place in the next game, but they're difficult games. Every game has different problems to solve, and I thought the game on Tuesday night was a good example of that. We were aware that Kings Lynn coming into the game had pushed Chesterfield really, really hard, and nearly took something off them, and that's a Chesterfield team who are doing well in good form. And Kings Lynn have, got some talented players within their group. The likes of Simeon Jackson have had good careers. They've got some younger players who are, finding their feet in the conference. So we were expecting a difficult game, and we got a difficult game, particularly in the first half, where we started really, really well. And then perhaps through their pattern, for a mixture of, them probably, relishing this game away from home, in terms of saying we can just turn up and have a really good go. But they were professional with it too. So what pleased me was in the second half we realised perhaps we needed to be a little bit higher, a little bit more forceful in our starting positions, and have a little bit more belief in terms of what we were doing, without the ball. And I thought that gained some good control in the second half, and really that was the difference in the game from first half to second. But these are the challenges that are going to be there, and you've got to recognise it and adapt to it very quickly, and we've done that.
And another major plus point of those two wins, of course, has been the boost to our goal difference in recent weeks. It's now the joint highest in the National League alongside Sutton, and that could prove to be so crucial come the end of the season, couldn't it? Yeah,
that's right. It's I think when you're playing these games, obviously first and foremost you want that win, you want that 3 points, no matter what the game is. But of course with that as well, there is the scenario that if you're fighting for critical places in the league, whether it be 1 or 2 or third or fourth, whatever that might look like for a team come the last couple of games, goal difference does come into that scenario. So it's good that we've had a strong 9 games with that. It's good that we're getting plenty of clean sheets, and obviously really, really pleased in the last 2 games we've had a good goal ratio to add as well.
One player I wanted to focus on this week was Tom Walker, because it can be a difficult role at times at wing back. You've got to contribute offensively and defensively, but in recent weeks he looks to have really started playing a key role going forward from that left-hand side. Yeah,
I think when Tom came into us, he was probably lacking a little bit of game time, a little bit of rhythm. And players need rhythm, they need game time, really to get into their stride and get their flow. So I think Tom's, had a bit more of a consistent pattern of games, and I'd like to think that's, coming out in his performances now. So, it's not a position he knows inside out. He's not got hundreds and hundreds of games referential experience in that role. So he's growing into it, and I think what he has done the last few games is assisted with key moments that have, helped to get the team's goals, and that's great for Tom, and hopefully that can be a really good platform for his confidence.
It was obviously a very tight game against Maidenhead when we went down there in February. I think Alan Devonshire's well known for setting his sides up to be very tough to beat. But what sort of challenge are you expecting from them on Saturday?
Resolute. I think they will come, and it will be a game where I think we will have to find a way. And what that way is, we'll have to wait until the game kicks off. But you're right, they'll have some traits about them that have been there all year. They've had a fairly stable season, looking at where they are. So We will certainly, again, at the risk of being repetitive, I think in all of these games, in order to win them and win them well, you need to be at your very best, and we'll need to be at that again, no doubt about it, because it's another stern test, and it's one certainly that, in terms of our attacking performance, that we'll certainly have to think about how we're going to cause Maidenhead problems.
I suppose a big difference to the last time we faced them as well is the level of momentum with us right now. I mean, 6 wins and no defeats in 9. I mean, how confident are the lads right now?
We're in a good place, but we're certainly not, overconfident, and we're not going to be complacent. I think as a group, we're very much taking things one game at a time. We are looking at a pattern and a picture of what we're doing, of course, and we are looking at, although it's one game at a time, what we're generally doing well and what do we generally need to do better, and then trying to fine tune that with fine detail based probably on our opponent. We're confident, and the boys, you can see that in moments of play, and the clean sheets and the goals we're scoring, of course, reflect that. But we won't be taking our eye off the ball, and we certainly won't be taking anything for granted. We've got to earn the right in every single game, and that will be our priority going into this game as well.
Just finally, Simon, I think after our own result on Tuesday and the results elsewhere as well, I think there seems to be a real buzz and excitement building around the club at the minute and around the fans as well, that suddenly we are right in this title race. I mean, do you share that excitement? How are you approaching it emotionally?
Yeah, I think it's my job to find balance in everything we do. I have absolute belief in the players, and it's nice that, to hear that people are, excited about what we're doing, and that was my main goal. In the first days in my job here, I said, my main goal here is to give the supporters a team that they're absolutely proud of and they can identify with. And, we're only short steps into the big picture of what we want to do, but, I think people will be fully behind the lads based on, they can see the commitment levels that are taking place. So that's great that the fans are excited. Of course we're excited, and we should be excited, but professionally it's my job and the players' job to stay balanced and just make sure we're taking care of the basics first and foremost.
Fantastic stuff, Simon. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure.